Hello and welcome to the Learning Love Podcast, brought to you by the Learning Love Foundation, helping people transform how they love, live, and lead. I'm your host, Dr. Mark A. Hicks, and I want to thank you for joining us today as we spend some time learning love. Love is the answer. Now all we have to do is explore all the questions. And some of the biggest questions in life revolve around our emotions of love. Love is very emotional. We know that. Now, in my book, Learning Love, I describe the 5 components of love. Emotion is one of those components. There's others. So love is not just a feeling. It's not just about emotion. There are other components as well that all work together to build a life of love in every area of your life. But emotion is a big one. It's important. We have to have that emotion to build that connection. Emotion is what really brings us together. It's what really bonds us. There's a lot of other factors that go into building a life of love, but emotion is that element that brings us together. It connects us. It really brings us to a place where we know we are connected. It's a matter of heart. It's a matter of our emotional state, connecting with someone else. It's a vital aspect of love. And for that reason, we probably need to understand a little bit about how emotions work. Now, there are so many different emotions and so many situations. Obviously, I can't talk about all of them in just the brief time that we have together today. But I'm going to boil this down to very simple concepts that once we get these core issues, we understand the basic levels of emotion, we're going to have an easier time living these out in a healthy way. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. Yes, emotions are very complicated, lots of nuances, lots of different aspects to them, but sometimes we just need to come back to the foundation. We need to come back to the foundational truths of what makes up our emotions and how we can live those out in healthy ways. What are the danger signs? What do we need to look for? And how do we go about living out our emotional life of love in a healthy way? So we're going to get down to the root of it today. We're going to get down to those very core emotions that all these other nuances come off of in order to understand how to live emotionally connected life with the people that are important to you. Now, with all the emotions that are out there, I'm going to talk about 3. All the others are going to come off of it. There is happiness, there is sadness, and I'm going to save the third one for later. That's going to be a really important one that we're going to talk about. But those are the 2 big ones that we come to in life, happiness and sadness. Now, happiness has a lot of nuances. There are times that we're happy over trivial things. It's just a temporary situation that happens in the day that just gives us a little bit of happiness. The new donut shop comes in next door to our office and we get to try it for the first time. Hey, that makes me happy. You know, those kind of things in life that we just have those little moments. Somebody says something that's really funny that we just really enjoy that moment. Those are those small, fleeting, temporary elements of happiness. Then there are the deep, resonating joys of life. Hopefully, our family life, people that we love, things that we do in life. Maybe our job is something we truly love. We feel called to. We find purpose in it. These things bring us not only a sense of happiness that can be fleeting, but a deep sense of joy, a sense of continuous joy, even in the tough times, even if things don't always go well at home, even if the kids are driving us crazy, even if our spouse irritates us occasionally, even if our coworkers are on our nerves or that project at work didn't go exactly as we had hoped. We take these things somewhat in stride because we truly love our family. We truly love our spouse, our kids. We love our home. We love what we do for a living. We appreciate our coworkers. All of these things bring us happiness. It brings us joy in life. And that's what we're really looking for. That's what we really need. Some people get scared of that. Some people avoid that. They think I don't deserve it. We all deserve it. What we need in life is happiness, joy. We want to find that in our relationships, and relationships are what brings that. Okay? There's a lot of other things in life that might bring us happiness, temporary kinds of things. But what really builds a true life of joy, a true life of happiness, are happy relationships. And this has been scientifically proven. There's a Harvard study that studied people for 80 years. 80 years. They studied this large group of people to see over the course of a lifetime what brings people joy, what makes people truly happy, not just the temporary fleeting idea that today went well, but what brings you happiness for a lifetime. They found out it was not money, it was not prestige, it was not a lot of things, it was relationships. People who got to the end of their life and said, I had meaningful, happy, healthy relationships are the people that reported having a happy life. And so what we're looking for is happiness, and that comes through relationships. Then there is sadness, and that's part of life. That is part of life because things are not always going to go the way we want. Sadly, people are going to die. It is part of this temporary life we live in, and we're going to grieve that. We're going to have disappointments. And again, there's a wide range here, okay? There are just bad days, things that didn't go well that disappoint us. And from that, we may feel down. We may feel kind of depressed that day. We may be angry. Sadness can sometimes bring anger because we push back against it. We don't like what's happening. We don't want to be disappointed. And we get frustrated and angry because we've had that disappointment, that sadness, that down moment in our life, or that down time in our life where things just didn't go the way we wanted. It upsets us. It makes us angry. So we have these elements of sadness that could be temporary, could be bumps in the road, and it could be profound sadness if we've lost someone very dear to us. God forbid you lose a child or a spouse. These are devastating losses. They bring horrible times of grief. Grief is also a healer. And so maybe I shouldn't even use the term horrible. It's certainly difficult to go through, but grief is also a healer. But we need that grief in those times of pain. We have terrible losses in our life sometimes. We may lose a job that we truly love. There could be a lot of things in life, and we got a long list of them, that could truly bring pain into our life and sadness. Now, one of the things about relationships and about emotions in relationships is you can be happy and sad at the same time. Let's think about a situation where you were just devastated that you lost a job. You love that job. It was a calling in your life. It was something you truly loved to do, and you found meaning in your work. It wasn't just a paycheck. It was something you truly loved to do and found purpose in doing it. And then that job's gone. That company shut down, whatever may have happened. That job is no longer yours. It's going to be devastating. It's going to bring deep sense of grief and sadness and perhaps anger and frustration in your life that you poured so much into that, and yet it's gone. And that's going to be a legitimate grief process. You have every right to feel upset and sad and grief-stricken over that event. But you can also, at the same exact time, feel a sense of gratitude as your family rallies around you, as you have your spouse, your children, your parents, your sisters and brothers, whoever it might be in your life, that truly love you, and you know that they are there for you despite this terrible loss. You may be grateful for the friends in your life and be very happy and joyful that you find those friends in life that are there for you in that time of struggle, that are helping you through that are there to listen to you as you just need to talk about how frustrating this is, and to help you find your way again, to help you network, to find that new job, to find that next phase of your life in your career. You can be grateful and happy and joyful about those things in your life, even as you're sad. It is not exclusive. You can be happy and sad at the same time. There's a classic example of this that, let's say we have an elderly mother who lived well into her 90s, lived a wonderful life, was always happy, had great memories, had a wonderful life, and then passes away peacefully at the age of 96. Is that sad? Absolutely it is. It's a terrible loss. And it's going to bring sadness because it doesn't matter how long we have somebody, when we love them, we don't want to lose them. We're never ready to give someone up that we love. That's going to be a sad day. And yet, there can be great joy in that. 96 years of laughter, of memories, of stories that can be told about her life. So we can have that sense of grief and sadness, but also a sense of joy and happiness at the same time. Happiness and sadness can coexist. And so as we are making our way through the relationships of life, as we are working our way through the emotions of life, we are looking to create moments that are happy. We are looking to create a life that is happy through happy, healthy, thriving relationships. And so it's worth our time and our effort to put into this, to learn how to build these healthy relationships and to work at building them, because it's what truly brings a happy life, even in the tough times. When bad things happen, we can still have that sense of happiness, of joy, of contentment, of gratitude, even when we are sad. Relationships are that powerful. They are powerful enough that when we have healthy relationships in our life, when we are thriving in our family life, in our friendships, when we have those relationships, we can have contentment, gratitude, joy, happiness, even in the worst of times, because that happiness doesn't go away. That joy doesn't go away because bad things happen in life. We can experience both at the same time. That joy is not going to keep the sadness away either. We can experience both when we have these healthy relationships. The stuff of life comes along. We can't avoid that. Life's going to be hard sometimes, but we can build relationships that bring joy in the midst of the sadness, happiness, contentment, gratitude in the midst of the sadness. And that's what keeps the sadness from overwhelming us. That's what keeps that frustration and anger from overwhelming us. When we don't have those relationships, we don't have joy, we don't have happiness in our life to start with, the stuff of life can just overwhelm us. We don't have that happiness to offset it. It can be overwhelming to experience the hardships of life when we don't have that sense of joy already established. So it's very important to build these healthy relationships, to work at learning what love is and how to live it out, knowing that when we have tough times, we can still be happy along the way. Now, we've got happiness, we've got sadness. You can experience both at the same time. But there's a third one that I said I wanted to talk about today. And it's a big deal. That is the emotion of fear. Fear is the great destroyer. When we slip into a life of fear, when we let fear become part of our life, it is the great destroyer of love. Many people say that the opposite of love is hate. Well, okay, I won't argue with that. There's certainly a case to be made there. Some people say that the opposite of love is apathy. That at least if you hate, you have some drive, you have some emotion, but if you have apathy, you just don't care, and that would be the opposite of love. Again, that's true. Not going to argue about that. But there's a broader definition. Yes, the opposite of love is hate. Yes, I agree, the opposite of love is apathy. I will also argue the opposite of love is fear. That when we live a life that is gripped by fear, we are not able to love. We are not able to build relationships of love. While we can be happy and sad at the same time, we cannot be happy and fearful at the same time. It's not possible. Fear will overwhelm us. Fear will cause us to retreat and run away. It will cause us to build barriers around our heart, which become an emotional prison. It keeps people at arm's length. It causes us to shy away from the good things of life when we start getting fearful. Let me give you an example. Let's say a couple who's basically been happy together, they hit some tough times, okay? Things are stressful at work. Things have been going not well with the kids. You know how it goes. There's a lot of problems in life. And let's just say things have not been as good between them as it could be, and as it was in the past. They start to drift apart. They're too busy. They're too stressed. Things are just not going well between them. So let's start thinking about their reaction to this. Let's say, for instance, they look at this, they think this is not going well. We're not as close as we used to be. And that makes me sad. That makes me frustrated. Maybe I'm even angry about it, that this is just not what I want. And we have that sense of sadness. Remember, we can be happy and sad at the same time. And so we can also, while we are frustrated with the current state of our relationship, still hold on to those memories, still hold on to the idea that we were good at one time and we can fix this, still hold on to that practical idea of, hey, we can get some help for this and we can work through some of these things. Maybe we need to see a counselor. We can make these practical choices because we react to the sadness. We react to that idea that I don't like this. This is frustrating. This is disappointing. And what can we do to fix it? But I have enough of that sense of joy that I do love you. I do have a sense of connection to you. And I know we were good at one time. We can do both. We can hold on to that happiness that we had, but recognize the sadness that we currently have and work on the problem. Find help for it. Get counseling, whatever we need to do. Now, when we get fearful, when we start thinking, I'm going to get hurt in this, this is going to destroy me. What if we can't save this? What if this is the end for us? What if I'm now going to be a single parent? How are we going to handle this financially? How am I going to tell my parents that we're going to divorce? We go down that road of fear. it leads us into some scary places. It leads us into some places where we start putting up these barriers. We start planning for the worst. We start trying to protect ourselves. And very often we are not willing to do the things, to be vulnerable enough, to have enough communication to fix the problems. We start barricading ourselves out of fear. Fear is the great destroyer. You cannot have a sense that I love this person, but I'm scared of them at the same time. You can have a sense that I'm disappointed in them and that makes me sad, but I still love them. That can happen. If I am scared of them, I'm scared of what they're going to do to me. I'm scared of our relationship. I'm scared that this is the end of our relationship. And I have this sense of fear that is the great destroyer of love. We cannot hold happiness and fear at the same time. We tend to either fight or flight. We run away or we find a way to fight to protect ourselves. And that is never good for our relationships. That's not going to be a way of moving forward in a healthy way. So emotions are plentiful. We have lots of nuances. And very often when we get into a tough spot, it's hard to really come to grips with, what am I feeling? Where is this taking me? And so let's boil it down to those three. Are you happy? Well, good. Not much to worry about there. Enjoy. Don't mess it up. Just have fun with it. Enjoy it. Are you sad? Which means you can also be frustrated and angry about what has ever happened. You can be a sense of grief of what has happened, but you can be happy at the same time. If I'm sad, I can also look for, where is the joy of life? So how can we let the happiness, the joy, the bonds of our relationships help us in these times of sadness? But then be able to answer the question, am I getting fearful? Am I scared? Am I letting my anxieties take control here? And at that point, we're not really feeling the sense of gratitude or joy or sense of bond. Fear is the destroyer of those things. And so even when someone comes to you with a potential solution, very often we're not ready to hear it if we're scared. If we're sad, if we're even angry, we might be. We probably are. But when we get scared, we're not going to be, because it feels like the house is burning down. It feels like the house is burning down around us. And so maybe a spouse comes to us and says, hey, we've had a tough time. Things have not been good lately. Why don't we go to dinner and just try to relax a little bit? When we feel sad or even angry, that can sound very good. That can sound, hey, maybe you got a point there. All right, thanks for trying. Let's do that. Let's go to dinner. Let's see if we can have a better night. But when we feel fearful and we feel like the house is burning down around us, even those gestures of love can feel like an attack. It can feel like, why are you suggesting something so trivial like going to dinner when the house is burning down? And we can actually feel like that suggestion was so trivial that it makes us angry, that we resent it. Fear does that to us. It makes us reject everything around us to just try to protect ourselves. So where are you going in your emotions during those tough times? Sadness, we can still hold on to the relationship. We can still be happy and joyful and content in the midst of sadness, and that can help carry us through. But when we get into fear, please get help. When you start recognizing you are getting into a place of fear where you don't even want to hear solutions, you just want to protect yourself. You're scared of what is going to happen in this relationship, get help. Fear is the great destroyer. We can be happy and sad at the same time. We cannot hold happiness, joy, the bonds of love, and fear at the same time. Fear is the great destroyer. So absolutely get help. This is a kind of a crash course in the basics of emotion, but in a very complex world, I think that can help. And that's my thoughts today as we are looking to build these healthy, happy, thriving relationships that we want, need, and deserve in our lives. As always, I hope you'll go to my website, markahicks.com. A lot of good stuff there. You'll also find easy links to buy my book, Learning Love, Building a Life That Matters, and Healthy Relationships That Last. I want to thank all the folks at the Learning Love Foundation for bringing this message to you each week. I want to thank my fabulous producer, Abby Graves of Abby Graves Productions, and I want to thank all of you for listening today. Until next week, love well, everyone.